The Distinguished Service Cross felt heavier than lead when Admiral Voss pinned it to my chest. The ceremony hall aboard the USC Odyssey rang with applause, thousands of boots stomping in unison, officers shouting approval like it was some kind of victory hymn. I stood at rigid attention, eyes locked on the bulkhead ahead, trying not to let my hand drift to the pocket where the strange thing sat. I'd taken it from the shattered altar of a Zorani temple on the last day of the assault. A palm-sized crystal lattice, cool to the touch, threaded with veins of soft violet light. It pulsed once when I lifted it from the rubble, faint, almost shy, like it was waking up. I told myself it was just a trophy, something to remind me we'd won. But right now, as the Admiral's voice boomed, for exceptional valor in the Zorani campaign, the thing warmed against my thigh, sending a slow shiver up my spine. For his leadership in securing the Zorani homeworld, Voss continued, Captain John Hayes has been selected for the Reconciliation Initiative. As a symbol of our commitment to peaceful integration, he will be assigned a Zorani companion from the relocation zones. A murmur rolled through the ranks. Some officers exchanged glances, others smirked. I kept my face blank. The Admiral stepped closer, lowering his voice just for me. She's already en route. Hayes. Young. Female. Name's Lyra. Treat her well. She's your responsibility now. I nodded once. The crystal pulsed again, sharper this time, as if reacting to something I couldn't hear. I clenched my jaw and saluted. Later, in the sterile glow of Processing Hangar 4, I stood behind one-way glass watching them sort the Zorani like cargo. Small, delicate frames. Skin that shimmered between pearl gray and faint indigo. Large eyes that caught every light source and held it like trapped stars. Most kept their heads down. A few stared back with something colder than fear. The logistics officer beside me tapped his datapad. Holding cell 17. Lyra. Captured during the fall of Zorveth. No incidents. Hasn't spoken since intake. I took the pad without looking. Age. Roughly 22 in human years. I walked the corridor alone. Boots echoed. The crystal in my pocket grew warmer with every step, almost uncomfortably so. When the cell door hissed open, she was curled in the far corner, knees to chest, hair like spilled ink falling over her face. Thin. Too thin. Faint scars circled her wrists where cuffs had bitten deep. I stood in the doorway for a long moment. I'm Captain John Hayes, I said, voice flat. You've been assigned to me. You'll live in my section. You'll follow protocol. You'll stay out of trouble. No movement. No sound. Do you understand? Slowly, her head lifted. Those enormous eyes met mine, dark as deep space, rimmed with a faint silver glow. There was no terror in them, only a cold, steady burn that cut straight through me. She spoke, voice barely above a whisper, yet every word landed like a blade. You burned my home. You killed everyone I loved. And now you wear their ashes on your chest. The crystal in my pocket flared, hot, sudden, insistent, like it was answering her. I didn't flinch. Yes, I said. Her eyes widened slightly. She'd expected denial, justification, anything but admission. I turned to leave, then paused at the threshold. Neither of us chose this, I told her quietly. But we're both here now. The door closed behind me. In the corridor, I pressed my back to the wall and pulled the artifact out. It was glowing steadily now, soft violet light washing over my palm. I had no idea what it meant, but something inside me already knew. This wasn't going to end the way Command planned. The first weeks were mostly silence. Lyra occupied the small cabin connected to mine. Bare walls, a narrow bunk, a viewport that showed nothing but endless black pierced by stars. She ate when the ration cart arrived, slept when the lights cycled to dim, and otherwise sat with her back against the bulkhead, knees drawn up, staring at nothing. Her luminescence, that soft inner glow Zorani carried like a second skin, stayed muted to a dull slate gray. I didn't push. I'd seen enough broken soldiers, human ones, to recognize when someone was holding themselves together with willpower alone. I went through my days like normal. Drills, briefings, paperwork that pretended the Zorani campaign was winding down into stability operations. Every staff meeting featured the same polished slide: Reconciliation Initiative, building trust, one companion at a time. Nobody mentioned the relocation camps that looked suspiciously like internment zones, or the classified annexes discussing biological asset evaluation. I filed reports, nodded at the right moments, and tried not to notice how the crystal artifact in my pocket warmed every time I passed Lyra's door. One night, maybe 3 weeks in, I came off a 16-hour shift and found her standing at my viewport instead of hers, arms wrapped around herself, staring at the faint violet smear of the Zorith nebula hanging in the distance. "That's Zorithel," she said without turning. Her voice was quiet, almost careful, like she was testing whether words still worked. "We believed our ancestors sailed those clouds before time had names, that when we died our light returned there to be born again." I set my helmet on the table. The artifact gave a single, low thrum against my thigh, barely audible, but I felt it in my ribs. "What do you believe now?" I asked. She didn't answer right away. Her glow flickered once, pale indigo, gone in a heartbeat. "That your kind is very good at burning heavens as well as planets." I moved to stand beside her, keeping 2 meters of space between us. Close enough to talk, far enough she wouldn't feel cornered. "I didn't ask for this assignment," I said. "But you're right. I chose every step that brought me here." Her head tilted slightly, a Zorani gesture I was starting to read as consideration, maybe even disbelief. "You could have refused the medal, the companion, any of it." "I could have," I admitted. "I didn't." Silence stretched again, thicker this time. Then she asked, so softly I almost missed it, "Why do you carry that thing?" I pulled the crystal out. It caught the nebula light and answered with its own steady violet pulse. "Found it in your temple," I said. "Figured it was important. Didn't know why." She looked at it, really looked, and for the first time since the cell her glow shifted to something warmer. Not friendly, not trusting, just curious. "It is a keystone," she said. "Old, from before the first cities. They say it listens." "To what?" "To hearts," she answered simply. "To what is felt but not spoken." I turned the crystal over in my palm. It felt heavier than it should have. "Does it talk back?" Her eyes met mine again. That same cold burn, but quieter now. "Sometimes," she whispered. "If you're listening." I didn't have an answer for that. Later, when she'd returned to her cabin without another word, I sat alone in the dark and held the keystone up to the starlight. It pulsed once, slow, deliberate, like a heartbeat answering another. And in that moment, unbidden, a memory surfaced. Not mine, or not only mine. A child's laughter echoing through crystal arches. A father's voice reciting star lore. Hands reaching for a falling sky. I dropped the thing like it had burned me. It landed on the deck with a soft clink and kept glowing. I didn't pick it up again that night, but I couldn't stop hearing the echo. If you've watched this far, then this story is really interesting to you. Please confirm it by clicking like under this video. It doesn't cost you anything, but it will help me understand what story to publish for you next. Tell me, do you like the comic book style? Let's move on. Months passed in the slow, deliberate way only deep space allows. Our shared quarters became less like a prison and more like a strange, uneasy truce. Lyra no longer retreated to her cabin the moment I entered. Sometimes she stayed at the viewport. Sometimes she sat at the small table when I ate. She never asked for anything. Never thanked me for the extra rations I left out or the tactical manuals I accidentally forgot on the shelf. But the manuals moved. Pages were turned. Data slates were returned with bookmarks I hadn't placed. One evening I came back from a live fire exercise soaked in sweat and found her studying one of the assault pattern diagrams I'd been reviewing. She didn't look up. "Your Marines still favor brute vectors," she said, tracing a line with one slender finger. "They commit too early." Here, she tapped a junction. "The left flank always overextends when the target feints right." A child could read it. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. "You've been watching the feeds." "I have eyes." I stepped closer, careful not to crowd her. "What would you do differently?" She glanced at me, quick, assessing, then back to the hollow. "Observe longer. Let the pattern reveal itself. Strike only when the weakness is already bleeding." I studied the diagram again. She was right. Torres had died in Sims twice this week for exactly that mistake. "Show me," I said. Her glow flickered. Surprise, maybe irritation. "I'm not your instructor. You're here. You see what I don't. Teach me." She stared at me for a long moment. Then she stood, moved to the center of the room, and beckoned me forward. We spent the next hour walking through the scenario in real space. She used only gestures, no weapons, no shouting, just precise, economical movements. a tilt of the wrist to indicate misdirection, a half step to expose overcommitment. When she mirrored my own stance back at me, exaggerated, almost mocking, I felt heat rise in my face. "You telegraph everything," she said. "Your shoulders rise before your arm moves. Your weight shifts left before you pivot right. Even your breathing changes." I exhaled through my nose. "I've been doing this for 15 years. And you still fight like someone who believes strength is enough." I met her eyes. "What do you fight with?" "Knowing when not to fight," she answered quietly. "And when you must, making sure the enemy never sees the blow coming." The keystone in my pocket gave a soft, resonant hum, deeper than before, almost approving. After that night, things shifted again. She began correcting the training protocols I submitted. Not openly, just small annotations left on my datapad in neat, angular script. Observation windows extended. Faint recognition drills added. Flank vulnerability checks mandatory. The instructors grumbled, but the kill ratios in Sims improved. Command noticed. They sent a commendation. I forwarded it to her without comment. She didn't acknowledge it. But one shift rotation later, she joined me at the observation deck during a full company drill. She stood beside me, close enough that I could feel the faint warmth radiating from her skin, and watched in silence for 20 minutes before speaking. "That lieutenant," she said, pointing. "She exposes her throat every time she resets. One good strike, and she's done." I nodded. Noted. A pause. "Why do you listen to me?" she asked suddenly. I looked down at her. "Because you survived us. That makes you the expert on what kills Zorani." Her glow pulsed once, sharp violet, then softened to something gentler. "And what kills humans?" she asked. I didn't answer right away. The keystone thrummed against my leg again, steady now, like a second heartbeat. "Refusing to see," I said finally. "Pretending the people on the other side aren't people." She turned her face back to the training bay. Below us, Marines moved in tight, brutal patterns, efficient, merciless, familiar. "Then perhaps," she said so quietly I almost missed it, "we are both learning to see." I didn't reply, but when we returned to quarters that night, she didn't retreat to her cabin. She sat across from me at the table while I cleaned my sidearm. For the first time, she ate at the same time I did. Neither of us spoke. The silence felt different now, less like a wall, more like a space waiting to be filled. The tally became my private ritual. Every night after lights dimmed to amber, I sat alone at the desk with a locked datapad and pulled up the after-action summaries from the Zorani campaign. Not the sanitized versions Command distributed, the raw feeds. Civilian casualty logs. Displacement counts. Names when they existed. I read them slowly, line by line, forcing myself to see each entry as a person instead of a statistic. 8,214 confirmed non-combatant deaths in operations I either commanded or participated in. Not soldiers, not combatants. Families, teachers, healers, children. I wrote the number in a small encrypted file every time I finished. Then I added one more line. Asterisk I remember. Asterisk. The keystone sat on the desk while I worked. It never pulsed brightly anymore, just a steady, quiet violet glow, like a nightlight that refused to let me look away. One morning, early, before the ship stirred, Lyra found me there. I hadn't heard her door open. She stood in the threshold, arms folded, watching me close the file. "You count them," she said. Not a question. I didn't lie. Every one. Why? I met her eyes. Because if I don't, they become numbers on a report. And once they're just numbers, it's easy to stop seeing them as people. That's how it starts. She stepped closer, slow, deliberate. Her glow shifted to a deep indigo, almost black at the edges. "You still fought," she said. "You still killed." "Yes." "Knowing what you were doing?" "At first, no." I exhaled, long and slow. "They told us your people were the aggressors. That Zorani expansion would swallow human colonies whole. By the time I saw the truth, I was already waist deep in it. And I was afraid." Of what? Of my own command. Of what I'd have to admit if I stopped. It was easier to keep moving. To tell myself the ends justified the means. Protecting my people. Winning the war. Her silence stretched so long I thought she'd leave without another word. Then she spoke, voice barely above a whisper. "My father's name was Thaler. He was a keeper of the old archives in Zorveth. He taught children the shapes of forgotten constellations. He said the stars were the only honest language left in the universe because they never lied about where they had been. She looked down at her hands. Faint scars still circled her wrists. He died in the third orbital strike. The temple collapsed on him while he tried to carry the last archive crystal to safety. I swallowed. I'm sorry. Sorry changes nothing. No, I agreed. It doesn't. I held her gaze anyway. But I mean it. For the first time since the holding cell, something in her expression cracked. Just a hairline fracture. Not forgiveness. Not trust. But the absence of pure hatred for a single heartbeat. She turned toward the viewport. Outside, the Zorith Nebula hung like a bruise in the black. I hated you, she said quietly. I still do sometimes. But I hate what was done more than I hate the hand that did it. I didn't reply. There was nothing safe to say. The keystone on the desk pulsed once, soft, warm, almost comforting. Later that day, she sat across from me at breakfast for the second time in a week. She didn't speak at first, just ate in silence while I drank coffee that tasted like regret. Then, without looking up, tell me one thing you remember. Not a number. A face. A moment. I set the mug down. There was a girl, I said. Maybe 8. Standing in the ruins of a market square after we took the Eastern Spire. She wasn't crying. She just stared at me, same eyes as yours. Same silver rim. She held a broken piece of crystal like it was the only thing left that mattered. I paused. I gave her my emergency blanket. Told my squad to move on. She never said thank you. She just looked at me like she was memorizing my face so she could hate it properly later. Lyra's glow flickered, pale gold at the edges. She probably did, she said. Probably. We sat in silence again. But this time she didn't leave the table when she finished eating. She stayed. And for the first time since the medal ceremony, the weight on my chest felt a little less like lead. The keystone glowed steadily between us, as if it had been waiting for this exact moment to breathe. The alert came during a routine patrol sweep along the edge of neutral space. Multiple distress beacons, the tactical officer announced, voice tight. Civilian convoy, designation Harmony Drift. Mixed species. They're reporting heavy damage and hostile contacts. Profiles match Syndicate raiders. Admiral Voss's face appeared on the bridge hollow. Confirm before we commit. That sector's politically fragile. No Korvax involvement, but we can't afford an incident. Before Voss finished, the sensor officer cut in. Raiders are firing. They've already breached the lead freighter. Civilian casualties confirmed. I was already moving. Strike team, gear up. I'm taking Alpha Squad. We launch in 4 minutes. As I passed our quarters, Lyra caught my arm. Firm grip, the first time she'd touched me voluntarily since the cell. Harmony Drift carries evacuees, she said, voice low and urgent. Zorani among them. Refugees. Families. I met her eyes. The keystone in my pocket thrummed hard, almost painfully. I know, I told her. I'll bring them back. Her glow flickered wildly. Fear, hope, disbelief all tangled together. Why would you risk? Because it's right. I cut in gently. Stay here. Lock the door. I'm not afraid, she said. I am, I answered. For you. I pulled away and ran for the hangar. The boarding action was brutal. We cut through the raiders' breaching tubes like a hot knife. Corridors stank of scorched metal and ozone. I led point, moving on instinct. Years of muscle memory overriding thought. Non-lethal on passengers. Lethal on hostiles. No exceptions. We cleared deck after deck. Bodies, human, Zorani, mixed, lay where they'd fallen. I forced myself not to look too long. In the main cargo hold we found them. 17 Zorani huddled behind overturned containers. Women, children, elders. Their glows dimmed to terrified gray, eyes wide with the same horror I'd seen on Zorveth. I raised empty hands, rifle slung low. I'm not here to hurt you, I said. I'm getting you out. An older Zorani female stepped forward, scarred, luminous patterns fractured like cracked glass. Why would a human soldier help us? She rasped. Your fleet glassed our home. I felt every name from my nightly tally rise in my throat. I know, I said. I was there. But you're civilians. And right now, you're under my protection. Behind me, Sergeant Reyes appeared, breathing hard. Captain, raiders neutralized. Ship secured. Medical teams inbound. Reyes glanced at the huddled Zorani, hesitating. Sir, regs say we process through standard channels. I know the regs, I snapped. Get medical to this hold. And prep the secondary shuttle bay. These people are going to Outpost Epsilon 7. Full asylum request. I'll sign it myself. Reyes stared at me a beat longer, then nodded sharply and moved. I turned back to the survivors. You'll be kept together, I told them. No separations. You'll have choices about where you go next. I'll make sure of it. The older female studied me, long, searching. You were the mark of the conqueror, she said quietly. Yet you speak like one who remembers shame. I didn't answer. When we finally extracted, I was blood-spattered, bruised, running on fumes. The Harmony survivors were loaded onto medical shuttles bound for the outpost. I watched them go from the hangar observation window, small figures glowing faintly again, fragile but alive. Back in quarters, Lyra was waiting in the corridor outside our door, arms wrapped tight around herself, glow pulsing warm gold, something I'd never seen from her before. You saved them, she said. Not a question, a statement of fact that still sounded like wonder. 17, I answered. They're safe. For now. She stepped closer, close enough I could see the intricate silver patterns in her eyes, like nebulae compressed into something impossibly intimate. You didn't have to do that. Yes, I said. I did. She searched my face for a long moment. You confuse me, John Hayes. I gave a tired half-smile. I confuse myself. Every damn day. Her glow softened further, almost tender. Then perhaps, she hesitated, vulnerability flickering across her features before she steadied herself. Perhaps we can be confused together. It wasn't absolution. It wasn't trust, not fully. But it was a crack in the wall we'd both helped build. I nodded once. I'd like that. And for the first time since the medal ceremony, the keystone in my pocket pulsed not with warning, but with something quieter. Something that felt dangerously close to hope. The classified briefing hit like a plasma round to the gut. I sat in Admiral Voss's office, reading the same 3 words over and over on the datapad. Project Final Horizon. A tailored pathogen. Zorani specific. Airborne dispersal. Projected lethality. 95% of remaining population within 3 standard months. Marketed to the galaxy as a tragic natural outbreak. Clean. Deniable. Final. Voss watched me from behind his desk, face carefully neutral. You understand why I'm showing you this, Hayes. I looked up slowly. Because I've become attached to my companion. He nodded once. Reports are clear. You've gone soft. That's why this is your chance to prove loyalty still matters. When Horizon deploys, your Zorani will be among the first wave, unless you volunteer her for the secondary program. He slid another file across the desk. Genetic advantages, rapid tissue regeneration, extended lifespan, enhanced sensory bandwidth. R&D wants live subjects. Cooperate, and she lives. Refuse, and she dies with the rest. You have 48 hours. I took the pad. My hand didn't shake. Back in quarters, I found Lyra reading one of the old tactical manuals. Openly now, no pretense. She looked up the moment I entered. Her glow shifted instantly to deep, worried amber. What's wrong? I sat heavily on the edge of the table. I need to tell you something, and you're going to hate me for not telling you sooner. I already hated you, she said, almost gently. I've moved past it. This is different. I told her everything. The virus, the labs, the choice that wasn't a choice. When I finished, the silence was louder than any alarm. She rose and walked to the viewport, back to me. Her glow cycled through colors I'd never seen. Violent purple to blood red to something dark and hollow. How long have you known about Horizon? She asked. Just today? I swear. She turned. But you knew about the research program. The real purpose of companions. I closed my eyes. I suspected. I didn't want to confirm it. Cowardice. Yes. She crossed the room until she stood inches from me. And now you have 48 hours to choose. Watch me die slowly under scalpels, or watch my entire people die quickly in silence. I stood. Neither. Neither isn't an option. Then I'll make it one. I met her eyes. I'm getting you out. You. And as many Zorani as I can reach. Her glow flared wildly. That's suicide. Court-martial. Execution. Everything you are. Was built on corpses and lies. I finished. I'm done, Lyra. I've been done for months. I just needed a reason strong enough to stop running. She searched my face, those galaxy-deep eyes looking for the lie that wasn't there. Why? She whispered. Why throw it all away for people who aren't yours? The words came before I could stop them. Because you are mine. Her glow stilled. You. The 17 on Harmony Drift. Every Zorani I've looked in the eye and seen a person staring back. Because for 3 months I've watched you read manuals you pretend not to care about. Correct my drills. Eat across from a man who should be your enemy. Watched hate turn into something else. Something I can't name yet, but I know I can't watch you die. Not for science. Not for plague. Not for anything. Silence again. Then she did the last thing I expected. She laughed. A strange, musical sound, broken and bright and utterly alien. I'd never heard a Zorani laugh before. We have a word, she said, still half laughing. Valkyrie. It means the one who sees your light. I thought it was just old poetry. Romantic nonsense. But standing here, watching a human captain burn his life down for me, her glow settled into warm gold. I think I understand it now. I exhaled shakily. Lyra, shut up, she said, stepping closer. I'm going to help you plan this. We're going to save my people. And if we die trying. She placed her hand flat against my chest, right over the place where the metal used to sit. At least I'll die beside my Valkyrie. I covered her hand with mine. I don't speak Zorani. You're learning. The next 46 hours blurred into frantic, whispered planning. I reached out to the few I trusted, soldiers who'd hesitated during the worst days on Zorveth, who'd looked away when orders crossed lines they couldn't stomach. 12 agreed. 12 willing to commit treason to stop genocide. Lyra worked the other side, quiet contacts through hidden companion channels Command never suspected existed. They'd been organizing for months. Waiting. Refugee holding on Titan verge, she reported during one midnight session. Almost 4,000 Zorani. If we blind the orbital sensors, resistance ships can extract them. And the lab subjects? 200 scattered across the fleet. Leave that to us. I squeezed her hand, the gesture now familiar, grounding. Lyra, if this goes wrong, if they catch us, don't let them take you alive. Her glow darkened to midnight blue. I won't, she said. Promise me the same. I promise. We both meant it as a vow, and we both prayed we'd never have to keep it. The plan ignited at 4 o'clock hours. I triggered a staged reactor spike, enough alarms to pull every damage control team to the lower decks. While chaos swallowed the Odyssey, my 12 turned off security grids, unlocked companion quarters, and funneled Zorani toward the shuttle bay. Lyra led them, small, fierce, glowing like a beacon in the red emergency light. I sprinted for the comms array. Admiral Voss, this is Captain Hayes. Possible containment breach on Deck 7. Locking down command level. Stand by for my report. It bought us 9 minutes. In those minutes, I uploaded everything. Project Final Horizon schematics, lab logs, companion program files, to every open channel I could reach, galactic news nets, independent relays, even pirate dark web drops. The truth spilled across the stars like plasma fire. Security caught on too late. Shots rang out as I ran for the bay. I felt the first bolt graze my shoulder. Hot, numbing. Another caught my side. I kept moving. Lyra waited at the hatch, violet glow blazing. Go, I shouted. Not without you. I stumbled. She caught me, impossibly strong for her size, half dragging me through the door. Engines roared. The Odyssey shrank behind us amid flashing alarms. I laughed, wet ragged. We made it. You're bleeding everywhere, idiot, she hissed, pressing hands to my wounds. Her glow softened to star white. Don't die on me, Valkyrie. Not now. Wouldn't dream of it. Darkness pulled. I fought it, staring at her face until it won. I woke 4 days later in soft green light. Living vines on bulkheads, the scent of growing things. Lyra lay beside me, exhausted but warm. You're awake, she whispered, relief cracking her voice. Where? Zorani Resistance Hub. Vethra Prime. She helped me sit. Bandages covered my chest. Outside the window, stars wheeled slowly. The broadcasts worked, she said. Colonies are rioting. 3 admirals arrested. Horizon suspended. Most of our people safe. Evacuation succeeded. I exhaled shakily. And us. They want to meet you. The human who defected. They're calling you Valkyrie, the Lightbringer. I'm not. I know. She smiled. Real, small, beautiful. You're just a tired soldier who finally saw. I took her hand. What now? We rebuild. Both our peoples have debts to pay. Wounds to heal. It won't be easy. Some Zorani will never forgive. Some humans will never accept. I know, but we have time. Her glow flickered violet, hopeful, tentative. And we have each other, if you want. I looked at her, this impossible, fierce being who had taught me to see my own shame clearly. I invaded your world, I said quietly. I destroyed everything you loved. She lifted our joined hands, pressed them to her chest, where her heart beat fast, like wings. You saw my light, John, even when I hid it, even when I hated you for seeing it. She met my eyes. Let me see yours. No words left. I leaned forward, rested my forehead against hers. Her glow washed over me, warm, alive, forgiving in a way words never could be. The keystone, still in my pocket, forgotten, pulsed once, soft and final. Then I understood. It had never been just a trophy. An ancient Zorani empathy amplifier, forged to bridge species through shared feeling. It had listened to her pain, my guilt, and slowly synced them, turning a conqueror's conscience awake, step by quiet step. I had been changing from the moment I picked it up. Now, holding her, I finally felt the truth settle. We had destroyed everything she had. I had joined her side. And somehow, against every probability, I had become her last hope. She whispered against my skin. Together, together, I answered. Outside, the galaxy turned, wounds bleeding toward healing, old wars fading into fragile peace. The road ahead was long, but we would walk it side by side. Thank you for listening to this story to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Write in the comments what moment in this story impressed you the most. Tell me, do you like the comic book style? And also check out the other videos that just appeared on your screen. See you in the next video.